Some years ask you to endure, others ask you to decide. 2026 doesn't arrive quietly. It arrives like a hinge, the kind that determines which direction the door opens. You have 1 year where beginnings carry unusual force. After that, whatever is set in motion gains its own momentum. If the last year felt heavy, confusing, or strangely lonely, this video will explain why. And more importantly, it will show you what kind of moment you're stepping into now. This isn't about belief, it's about the structure. Numerology and tarot are symbolic systems, maps created to understand cycles, not predict events. They don't tell you what will happen, they tell you what kind of time you're in. And when you understand the nature of the time, you stop fighting it. To understand 2026, we first need to understand what 2025 was actually doing. When you add the numbers 2025, you arrive at number 9. In tarot, 9 corresponds to the hermit. The hermit is not a figure of weakness. He represents withdrawal with purpose. This is the archetype of someone who steps away from the noise, distraction, and external validation, not because they failed, but because answers stopped existing outside. The hermit doesn't illuminate the entire path. He carries a lantern that shows only the next step. That's why 2025 felt unclear for so many people. Plans dissolved, certainty disappeared. Long-term vision felt impossible. You weren't meant to see far ahead. You were meant to slow down enough to see the truth. The hermit climbs the mountain alone. No applause, no reassurance, no shortcuts. And that's exactly how many people experience 2025. Isolated, reflective, stripped of distractions. Not abandoned, initiated. This archetype appears when a cycle is ending and wisdom must be extracted before the next begins. Year 9 closes doors that should have been closed a long time ago. Jobs that no longer aligned, relationships that had already expired, identities that no longer fit who you were becoming. 2025 didn't destroy your life, it cleared what couldn't come forward. The hermit prepares the ground by forcing you inward. Now we move into 2026. When you add the numbers of 2026, you get 10, which then reduces to 1. This is important because before 2026 becomes a year 1, it passes through year 10. And in tarot, 10 is not a simple number, it is the wheel of fortune. The wheel of fortune represents movement that cannot be stopped. A massive wheel turning endlessly, lifting some upward, carrying others downward. This card doesn't ask if you're ready. It turns. At the top of the wheel is mastery and responsibility. On one side, figures rise, which is rebirth, extension, opportunity. On the other side, figures descend, which is release, endings, what must be let go. The wheel keeps moving. The wheel of fortune is karma in action. Not punishment, not reward, simply consequence, which planted across the last 9-year cycle comes into motion here. Seeds grow, neglect shows itself. This is why 2026 feels intense before it even begins. The books are being balanced. Wheel years bring synchronicity. Unexpected meetings, old connections resurfacing. Opportunities appearing without effort. Not because of luck, but because timing realigns. Doors open that stayed locked for years, others close without negotiation. The wheel doesn't explain itself, it simply reorganizes reality. Remember, 10 contains a 0. In symbolic language, 0 represents the infinite, the source before form. This matters because it means the changes of 2026 are not happening in isolation. There is support beneath the movement. You're not being pushed blindly. You're being carried into the next cycle. But the Wheel of Fortune is only half the story. After 10 comes 1, and in tarot, 1 represents the magician. This is where agency returns. The magician stands firmly between worlds, one hand pointing upward, which represents connection to the higher plane, one hand pointing downward, which is power to act in the material world. As above, so below. The magician is the chin. On the table before him are four tools: the sword, which is clarity, thought, discernment; the wand, which is will, action, creative force; the cup, representing emotion, intuition, inner truth; the pentacle, which is body, resources, material reality. Nothing is missing. The magician does not wait for conditions to be perfect. He acts with what is already available. This is what year one demands: new beginnings with consequence, initiate without permission, focus over fragmentation. What begins here becomes the foundation of the next 9 years. That's why hesitation feels heavier now. The energy is moving forward, with or without you. The magician does not use all tools at once, he chooses. 2026 is not the year to scatter your energy, it's the year to choose one direction and commit fully. Half effort will not survive this cycle. Number one is the number of identity. So the real question of 2026 is not what do I want? It's actually who am I choosing to be? Not who you were thought to be, not who others expect you to be, who you claim yourself to be. There are 5 areas where your choices matter most now: identity, which is the version of yourself you reinforce; the projects, what you begin and nurture; relationships, who walks this cycle with you; beliefs, the story you repeat internally; and emotional tone, the state you normalize. These are the seeds. So now I invite you to write this down. What I consciously begin in 2026 shapes my reality until the end of this cycle. This is not pressure, it's clarity. If this message resonated, it's because you already feel the shift. Some people will move through 2026 unconsciously, repeating patterns in a new setting. Others will recognize the moment and choose deliberately. If you want support navigating this year with clarity, focus, and alignment, I'm creating a space for deeper work. Once this project is up and available, the link will be on the comments. The hermit prepared you, the wheel is turning, the magician is waiting. 2026 is not asking for permission, it is asking for action. The moment has arrived.